everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Today's topic is things to know about freezing your eggs. Things to know about freezing your eggs. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers, the new subscribers, and welcome to you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now, to get us started, I did pull a short video. Let's watch this video, and we have a letter. Then we're going to read the letter and dive right into this topic. Things to know about freezing your eggs. Here we go.
If you've been thinking about freezing your eggs but are worried that you're too old, this video is for you. I'm Dr. Sanas Ghazal. I'm a double board certified fertility doctor and OBGYN, and as someone who has helped a lot of people preserve their fertility for the future by freezing their eggs, I got you. Let's talk about the best age to freeze your eggs. So as long as your ovarian reserve is reasonable, you can really freeze your eggs at any age, but it's important to remember that egg freezing and IVF in general is a numbers game. Not every egg that you produce is going to lead to a baby, and there's significant drop off in the numbers during the reproductive process. The number of eggs that you need in order to have a reasonable chance of having a live birth in the future depends mainly on your age when you freeze your eggs. The older you are, the more eggs you need. Data suggests that if you're under the age of 35, freezing about 10 to 15 eggs will give you about a 70% chance of having one live birth in the future and about a 30% chance of having two live births. At age 40, the number of eggs you need to freeze for the same odds of a live birth increases to almost 30. Some people are able to get to their goal number of eggs with just one cycle of egg freezing. But depending on your goal number of eggs, your age, your ovarian reserve, you may need to think about doing more than one cycle to accrue or bank the number of eggs you're hoping for. The younger you are when you freeze your eggs, the more eggs you're likely going to get, and the quality of those eggs should be higher as well, which means that when those eggs become embryos, your success rate may also be higher. So bottom line, you can really freeze your eggs at any age, but the younger you are when you do it, the better. And if you're still on the fence about freezing your eggs, talk to a board certified fertility doctor about your situation and your goals, and we can help you navigate your options.
Okay, first of all, there is some difficulty in freezing your eggs, and I wanted to read that to you. Other than being an expensive procedure, egg freezing can also be uncomfortable and inconvenient. The womb has to take injections to stimulate egg production, and it takes 10 to 12 days for that to happen. And you would be required to take repeated blood tests and ultrasounds. And finally, the eggs need to be retrieved during an office visit. Okay? All right, let's dive into the letter and see what she says. She entitles her letter, Freezing Eggs and Who Pays? I'm 34 and I have been with my boyfriend for 1 year. He's in his 40s. Neither of us have been married or have any children. I decided to freeze my eggs because I don't want to rush our relationship. And I think even if I get pregnant now, I may still want to have more children in the future. You're only 34. Okay. He earns a lot more money than I do, and he's a provider in our relationship. I call him Daddy. And he pays for expensive holidays, gifts, and meals. That's why you call him Daddy. I understand. Okay. Do you think I can ask him to pay for freezing my eggs? I can afford it, but it is still a lot of money for me. In my mind, he's already my baby's daddy. Is he? Is he really? You only known him a year, or you only been with him a year. So how do you know he's going to be a good father to anybody's baby? And I'm freezing my eggs for our family. Oh, you gonna make arrangements for your family. Okay. And so I'd like for him to pay for it. After all, he's the provider and he doesn't have to be pregnant. What do you think about this? Okay, I'll tell you what I think. Number one, you're pretty young, 34. And if you decided that you want to do this, you have free will. You go ahead and do it. But the thing is, you do it. I really don't think that you should ask him to pay. And I'll tell you why. Because you don't know what's going to happen with him down the line. You only been with him a year. You understand? I hope that it works out great for you. But suppose it doesn't. You see, if he pays for these eggs, he may want to take ownership. Say those eggs belong to him. You see? And I I don't know if that could turn into a court battle or what. Even when men pay for women's breasts, they feel like that's their breasts. You understand? Because they paid for it. In my opinion, I believe if you want to do this procedure, then you should pay for it. Then it would be yours alone, because you don't know what's going to happen with him. It could turn out great, and it might not turn out great. And who's to say he wants to have a bunch of kids anyway? You didn't say that in the letter. And you say, if you got pregnant now, well, if you're going to freeze your eggs, if you're that savvy, if you get pregnant now, it's because you want to get pregnant now. You want to have a baby, maybe to lock him down. You didn't talk about you being married or anything. You didn't talk about him asking you to marry him or anything. Okay, you just said you've been together for a year. And already you wanting to freeze your eggs so that you and this man can have a bigger family together. I think you're way ahead of yourself here. I do. I think you need to step back a minute and give this relationship some time. Now, if you decide that you want to freeze your eggs, that's on you. You should pay for it and have your eggs somewhere that whenever you decide to have children, your eggs will be there. But they tell me, even in the video that I showed, the older you get, the more eggs that you got to freeze. Okay. But, freezing your eggs can be a risky business because everybody in those clinics are not trustworthy. Suppose your eggs fall into the wrong hands. Then your children will be, you understand what I'm saying? What I would advise you to meditate on this. See if it's the right thing for you to do. All right. And if you are comfortable with doing it after you've done all the research and things like that, then you got free will. Go ahead. But I believe you should keep him out of it. He's not married to you. He has not proposed to you. Who's to say that he's even looking to have a future with you? Just because he's with you now doesn't mean anything. You need to have a solid commitment. Now, if you are married and you both decided to freeze your eggs, that's one thing. But you're not married. You're not even engaged. And already you planning a family with this man? No, I think you are too far ahead of yourself. I think you need to slow it down. And like I said, if you decide you want to freeze your eggs, then you pay for it. Let it be something that you do. And if I were you, I wouldn't even mention it to him unless he proposes. I wouldn't mention it to him. You see, because to some men, that can be a little frightening. You're already planning out the life with him and kids and all of that. It could be a little frightening to some men if he's not on the same page. So my advice to you is to slow it down. Really take time and think about this and decide whether you want to do this for yourself or not. Don't do it for anybody else. If you want to do it, you're doing it for you, which means that you pay for it. I hope you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.